What up, YouTube? It's True Grit Boxing News. Checking in with another video, man. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, turn your notification bell to all so that every time I drop, you will be the first to know. Hey, support the grind, support the grind. Likes are free. Hit that thumbs up for me. So, topic of discussion today in the world of boxing that I'm sure all of the boxing fans across the world are talking about it. This is big news, guys. Gervonta Tank Davis and the upcoming anticipated fight against Vasily High-Tech Lomachenko has come to a halt. Vasily Lomachenko has decided that he does not want to fight again this year, guys, because of what's going on in his home country of Ukraine and what's going on with Russia and everything. You know, he had participated and helped his countrymen in fighting off Russia years prior. So maybe he's going to do that again. But Vasily has come out, stopped negotiating with Gervonta Tank Davis, and has let it be known that he is not planning on fighting this year. He wants to take the rest of the year off, spend time with his family, and see what's going on with his country and this war with Russia. Big news, guys, because we all were anticipating Gervonta Tank Davis fighting Vasily High-Tech Lomachenko, possibly in November of this year, maybe even December, but sometime later on in the winter. So, now that we have that cleared up and we know Gervonta Tank Davis will not be fighting Vasily High-Tech Lomachenko, who is Tank going to fight? That is the number one question. Now, in my opinion, and I'm sure in you guys' opinion, what and who is the biggest fight at 135 lightweight division? It's a no-brainer. Shakur Stevenson. That's the fight I wanted to see anyway, guys. I wasn't too enthused about the Lomachenko fight. I understand boxing is a business, so I understand where Tank was trying to go with the Lomachenko thing and getting Lomachenko on his resume. I get it. But still in all, the biggest fight there was and still is Gervonta Tank Davis against Shakur Stevenson. I mean, it's just a fact. That is the biggest fight. The winner of that fight is the best fighter at 135 pounds. Until that fight happens, the best at 135, we don't know, because those are the two best fighters in the weight division. Now, Gervonta Tank Davis being the A side, being one of the faces or the face of the sport of boxing, of course, he has options, right? He has options. But who wants to see him exercise those options, guys? We want Shakur. We want Shakur. Period. So, Tank has the option to maybe fight a rematch fight with Isaac Pitbull Cruz, although Tank has been on record saying he does not want to rematch Pitbull Cruz. And also, Pitbull has moved up to 140 pounds, and he is defending his world title there August the 3rd on a card that's stacked with Terrence the Bud Crawford against Rayo Venezuela, right? Another option Tank may have is William Zepeda. Still in all, not as a big fight as it would be against Shakur Stevenson. We don't want to see him fight Zepeda. We want Shakur. We want Shakur. Period. It is definitely time for Tank to step it up and fight the top guys in his division, which is something that, let's just be honest, we have not really seen happen as of yet. Now, if Tank would have got the Vasily Lomachenko fight, Lomachenko is one of the top guys at 135, that would have granted, okay, he is fighting one of the top guys. If he doesn't fight Shakur and he settles to fight somebody of lesser competition, somebody that we really don't know, or somebody's going to bring up in weight or bring down in weight instead of fighting Shakur, that's going to be very interesting, because there is no bigger fight at 135 for Tank Davis right now other than Shakur. Vasily Lomachenko maybe could have been bigger or could have been just as big, but Shakur Stevenson and Tank is the biggest fight. Matter of fact, no. Lomachenko fight was not going to be as big as a Shakur Stevenson and Tank fight. Let's just be honest. With all of the media attention that Shakur has been receiving as of late, people want to call him boring. He can't do this. He can't do that. You know, what's the old saying, guys? All publicity is good publicity. So Shakur's name has been ringing bells all across boxing platforms for the past 2, 3, 4 months. Okay, so Shakur's buzz, even though he is creating the moniker of, you know, people don't like him, don't like his style, they think he's boring. People are going to tune in. They're going to hate and they're going to tune in just to watch him lose. Just to see if he's going to lose. So regardless of how boring he is, people are going to watch, period. So Gervonta Tank Davis or Shakur Stevenson is the biggest fight at 135 pounds at lightweight. It would be a unification bout. This is the fight that we want to see. Once again, we want Shakur. We want Shakur. So there really shouldn't be anything stopping this fight from happening. You know, it needs to just go ahead and just take place. You know, there's no roadblock. Shakur just had a fight. Tank just had a fight. Both fighters are available for a fight later on this year. Let's make it happen. I don't want to see Tank fight anyone else other than Shakur Stevenson. Now, let's speak on some reasons that the fight may not take place, right? So, with Gervonta Tank Davis being the A side, which means he's going to be able to control the bulk of the negotiations 100%, right? Shakur Stevenson is a free agent, so to speak. He does not have a promoter, promotional company backing him, so that should make the negotiations for Shakur very, very easy. You know, Tank isn't going to have to deal with a Top Rank or Bob Arum or any other promoter. It's not going to be a co-promoted event, and he doesn't have to worry about any of that. So a lot of roadblocks are already out of the way, which is even more of a reason why this fight definitely should happen. It's easy to make. Now back to what I think could stop the fight from happening. One thing that could possibly stop this fight from taking place, guys, would be Gervonta Tank Davis, being the A side, just completely trying to lowball Shakur Stevenson in the negotiations. Not wanting to give him much, not wanting to give him anything. You know, a ridiculous split. Just a ridiculous type of split. Trying to give him 5, 10%, 15%. You know, just something completely ridiculous, you know, that Shakur just wouldn't want to accept, because this is a big fight, you know, and there are two names here. Now, granted, Tank is the A side, hands down. So Shakur is going to have to adhere to whatever it is that Tank is offering and Tank wants to give, but just a complete lowball offer, like I don't think any fighter should go in there and basically fight for crumbs, even if you're getting a couple of $1 million. Like, let's say if it's something of, oh, well, Shakur is going to get 2-3 million, but Tank going to get 30 or 40. Then plus the bulk of the pay-per-view money on the back end. Like, that's just crazy. You know, that would just be very, like, a really lowball type of offer. I mean, think about it. This is business, right? Like, would you go into a business where you bring in your name and everything that you have associated in the sport to fight someone where you're only going to make 2-3 million, but they going to make 30 or 40? Then whatever else on the back end is again going to be 70, 80 times more than what you going to make on the back end. I mean, we just got to, come on now. We just got to, you know. So I think that is one way that the fight wouldn't be made, if Gervonta Tank Davis decides to just completely lowball offer Shakur to get him to not even accept, right? Then on the flip side, another way that the fight may not take place during negotiations is if Shakur, you know, outprices himself. If Shakur is going to go into this thinking he deserves a 50-50, or even a 60-40, I think at best this might be more like a 70-30 or, somewhere along those lines, 65-35, like somewhere along those lines, I think is where this fight would take place split wise, but yeah, if Shakur goes in there and tries to just completely outprice himself, then that's another way that the fight wouldn't happen. So we just got to see what's going to happen during the negotiations, but one thing Tank has to take into consideration is the name that Shakur is bringing to the table, his following he's bringing to the table, and the fact of his accolades as well. Shakur's a silver medalist in the Olympics. He is a 3-weight division world champion, former unified world champion at 130 pounds, a super featherweight. He came up 126, got a belt. 130, got 2 belts. And he also has a belt at 135. So, Shakur has accolades, So those cannot be negated or looked over. The fact that Shakur has done and accomplished things in the sport. Tank Davis is also a 3-weight world division world champion. So they both are bringing accolades to the sport, and Gervonta Tank Davis is the face of the sport. He is the A side, so just is what it is. But hopefully we do get to see this fight. This is the fight everybody wants to see. This is the fight I want to see. This is the fight I know you want to see. Forget Lomachenko. Nobody was really checking for that anyway. We want Shakur. Tank Davis is on record saying that Shakur is on his hit list. He's one of the fighters that he wants to fight, and he's definitely planning on fighting. So we don't need to wait any longer. There's really nothing stopping it. These guys need to negotiate, come to a fair deal on both ends of the spectrum, both ends of the table, and let's make it happen. Shakur ain't got a fight scheduled. Tank ain't got a fight scheduled. They both just had fights. Hey, let's get it cracking. So all of the Tank fans, hey, we should be seeing this fight next. There's no reason for us to not see this fight next. If we don't see Tank and Shakur next and it's Gervonta's doing, that's just going to be very, very, very disappointing. Because this is the biggest fight at 135 pounds. One of the biggest fights in the sport of boxing right now. Let's just be honest. It's definitely up there. So once again, we want Shakur. So guys, that's all I got on this one, man. This is True Grit Boxing News signing out. Smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button. Turn your notification bell to all so that every time I drop, you'll be the first to know. Peace.